What's up, YouTube? It's Carolina Calvin coming back to you with another video. And here I got my boy MG. We a bit late, but we had to talk about Defenders. And we were talking about this last night. And there's a lot of things we want to say about this. So we can kind of give our review, rating at the end. Also, we're going to talk about the future of the Netflix Marvel series. Got some concerns. Some things we know that's going to go well. And what we hoping they actually put in there based on some of the properties they do have that they haven't used. But the Defenders came out, was it August 18th? I think it was.
It was the 18th.
Yeah, it came out August 18th. It was 8 episodes. Of course, it encompasses Iron Fist, Daredevil season 1 and 2, Jessica Jones season 1, and Luke Cage season 1. However wherever you rank those at. Those shows have, set up a really good mini universe for the Netflix series. And, it's in the same universe, but it almost feels like it's in a different universe. That's what I'm saying that. Because, there's subtle mentions of, Avengers and whatever is going on in the main MCU. But, it's still in there. It just feels, it's definitely a smaller scale. Most of it takes place, pretty much all of it takes place in New York. But what I've been hearing from a lot of people, it's been mixed. I've been hearing people say it's really bad. People saying it's all right, and I've been hearing, of course, you had people that saying it's really good. Where I fall at, I think it's definitely better than a lot of the people who've been saying it was bad. Because the people that's been saying it was bad, has been saying it was complete garbage. People were putting it down there with Iron Fist. Hell no. Looking at the episodes, looking at all the different characters, there was a lot of characters interacting with each other, more than any of the other series, which those series mainly had their characters in it. This one had to balance characters from 4 different shows and condense that into 8 episodes and put the main, your main characters, give them a story in terms of interacting with each other and bring all the story to pretty much like together, because they're all essentially fighting one antagonist. But of course, the Defenders are fighting the Hand. Hand's a big villain. If you read in the comics, mostly for Daredevil, but for the Defenders, this is what they want to go with. They are a big time villain in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, in the Marvel comics, and I felt as though most of the characters did a really good job. Now, I had some issues with Mike Coulter as Luke Cage. I felt as though he was stronger in his series than he was in this. Iron Fist, he was better. He was actually better in this series than he was, than he was in his Iron Fist series. Just because they tried, in Iron Fist, they tried to do the whole Zen thing. And this, you could tell they went completely away from that. And I felt as though that worked a little bit more. Jessica Jones, she didn't really use her powers till like the last 2 episodes. Well, mostly the last episode. She, for the most part, still did a really good job. Her and, what's her name? I can't remember the chick's name. Her name was on the top of my head.
Colleen Wing?
No. The chick that's playing Jessica Jones, I can't remember her name.
Kristen Ritter?
Yeah, that's it. Her and Charlie Cox as Daredevil, he was clearly the best character in this series. He was clearly the best, to me, and out of all the characters. And their interactions with just, those two, and of course with everyone else, whenever he was in there, those scenes were stronger. Just in my opinion, those scenes were stronger. And it had a good villain. The people they got to play like the main leaders of the Hand. I thought Elektra was pretty good. And if I didn't already say, this shit has spoilers in it. Everything we talking about spoilers. But I'm 4 minutes in, so you already been spoiled. But even the supporting characters, Colleen was good. Rosario Dawson was good. The chick that played Misty. From the she's from the Luke Cage series. You can kind of see they're possibly setting up some more with the way it ends in that final episode. Foggy was good. I know MG, you don't like Karen. I don't like the chick from Jessica Jones. Really not a big fan of her. It's mostly probably just the actress for me. But for the most part, I liked everybody. The antagonist, the lady that played Gals, I thought was really underrated in the Iron Fist series, and she was still good in this.
And she played a background in this one. She played a background in this one.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird because in all the other series, she was the lead person of the hand, and then obviously Sojourner Weaver comes along, and it's like, okay, there's somebody ahead of Gal. So it's kind of weird to change that dynamic.
Oh, Sigourney Weaver was great. She was great. But what do you think about it? I think it's good. I think it's good. And before you say what you were gonna say, I think a lot of people, it was almost no pleasing them, because if there's too much action, people are gonna cry there's no story. If there's too much story, people cry there's no action, which was the case for this, because there are slow moments at the beginning. As I said before, it's all about their individual stories and how they meet together.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people instantly just didn't want to like it because a lot of people don't like Iron Fist.
Yeah.
And that, I personally like the Iron Fist series. I really enjoyed it. Like, personally for me, I enjoyed Iron Fist more than Jessica Jones. But I can understand why people wouldn't like the Iron Fist series, whether it be because of quote-unquote whitewashing or which is stupid in the first place because he's never been Asian. Yeah. Or, just because you don't like the actor who's playing, Iron Fist, Finn Jones. And I'll say this about him because I was telling Calvin about this yesterday. I think the problem with that is that in the first season, the story was so deep and so serious, but traditionally Iron Fist has been a little bit more of a lighthearted character from what people have seen, whether it be in the animated series, in the cartoons and all this other stuff that they've done. So Finn Jones is kind of portraying a more lighthearted, chill, Danny Rand, but the story is so deep and serious, and it just didn't fit together. And I feel like in this show, where it was a serious story, obviously, but he got a little bit more room to breathe in terms of as a character with the progression of him not doing all the Zen shit like Calvin mentioned earlier, and with him kind of just being able to be himself. I thought he did a better job in this series, and I think he's going to be a guy who grows with the character. So I'm not too worried about him in the Iron Fist series. I agree, though. Charlie Cox.
Good. I got a feeling the next one's gonna be
good. And they changed a lot around. I think there's a new head, somebody else heading the show now. And then I know Finn Jones has completely changed his workout routine and kind of his training for the next season of Iron Fist. So, and we'll get into it. But towards the end of the season, you can kind of see the progression of Iron Fist as a character, and him get a lot more settled in. And so I think next season of Iron Fist is going to be really good. But Charlie Cox, Kristen Ritter, Matt Murdock, and Jessica Jones absolutely, and Sojourner Weaver as actors carried the entire season.
Yeah, those three carried it, definitely. Those three
carried it. Yeah. Mike Coulter. My issue with Mike Coulter is that his acting isn't holding up. He looks the part of a Luke Cage. The action scenes are really good. Well, even some of Luke Cage's action scenes to me are too slow. Like, you'll see him just walk up on a guy and grab him and throw him, where he's throwing these slow punches. And I'm like, bro, you're a superhero. You should be a lot more dangerous than what he's been shown. But I feel like him looking so much like the part is giving him a pass with a lot of people, and where his acting hasn't stood the test. And that's the big issue for me with Mike Coulter right now. We'll see what happens in, Luke Cage and if it changes, but that's my big problem with him. But outside of that, everybody was acting-wise, I felt like it was really good, the supporting cast, and I'm glad they didn't make the supporting cast the focus, which was one of the concerns I had with so many side characters being in one show. I was concerned they were going to be too much of a focus at points in time, but they really weren't. They were legit just, sidekicks and supporting characters. You barely seen them most of the time. If you did, they were all in the same place together. So, outside of Colleen Wing, but I thought it was a really good show. I like how they brought them all together too.
Yeah, I felt as though like they were able to give the supporting characters time.
Yeah.
You saw each character got a good amount of time on screen. You kind of saw how they, even the supporting characters interacting with another supporting character from a different show. They actually got time to interact with each other. Got, of course, interact with their main characters, and it was funny seeing like just stupid. I guess you can't necessarily say it's stupid, but like kind of like when the specific scene where Luke Cage closed the door behind him and he like rolls the metal across the door. Colleen reacts to that. There's just something so simple, but you can see like the characters, the characters throughout the series interact with each other, and it's all gonna set up something, of course, later on. And it all depends on what they want to do. But the people that talk about pacing, I don't think the pacing was bad, honestly. People went in expecting it to be Avengers. They wanted some huge New York battle, and it was gonna focus more on the interaction with the characters. Obviously, it's on a budget. That's why I only had 8 episodes, so it's on a budget. Most of your action came in pretty much that last episode. You say the last 2 episodes, where a majority of it is fighting. Really, really very little talking. There's a lot of fighting. To me, that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see the characters interact. I wanted to see how they were going to interact with each other. Hell, even in the Avengers, some of the best scenes are when characters interacting with each other.
Yep.
The first Avengers, everyone members on the helicarrier, everyone's fussing with each other. That's the scene I remember most from the movie. Now, it may be different for other people, but that's what we wanted to see. We wanted to see all these superheroes interacting with each other, and each of these shows seeing, that we saw, we knew Defenders were coming up. We wanted to see, oh shit, what happens when, because Daredevil, I'm sorry, not Daredevil, Iron Fist, Luke Cage in the comics, big time friends, heroes for hire. We wanted to see how they were going to interact with each other. We want to see how Daredevil was going to interact with some of these other characters, knowing that he doesn't like working on teams. So we see that in the comics, but to see that on live action is a totally different thing. And that's what, coming into this, I really wanted to see. The action was going to be there. The action was there.
They didn't sacrifice anybody's characters either, which was really good to me, because normally when you get team ups, somebody's character changes, just to kind of supplement what the story is doing, but nobody's character changed here. Like their characters changed in terms of character progression, but nobody had to take like a true backseat. Everybody had their place in their role.
Yeah, like they started making compromise. Like Jessica Jones, she was kind of like the carefree, I don't want to get involved in this shit type of person. She was willing to work with the team. She was willing to risk her life to save a city that she probably don't give a shit about. Daredevil, he was willing to work with other people. Luke Cage, Iron Fist, they, for the most part in this show, they were able to work. They were able to work together with people. Jessica Jones and Daredevil were the ones that were, in terms of looking at their series, they were the ones least likely to want to cooperate in a team effort. Now Daredevil, if it was up to him, especially at the beginning of the series, he'd try to do all the shit by himself.
Yep.
He tried to do all this shit by himself. So, I think that's what you mentioned, the character progression, where they were, they had to make compromises. They had to work together to beat an overwhelming force. What would you rate it? Scale of 1 to 10.
As a whole,
yeah. Ooh, forgot to mention, Stick was really good. Stick was really good.
he was really good.
Yeah.
I liked what's it called? I can't remember what his name was, but he was one of the 5 fingers of the hand.
Let me see if I can get his name. I'm on the IMDb page right now.
The Asian dude who didn't trust Elektra. I can't remember his name. I don't even remember what his character's name was.
Hold up. Murakami?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That dude was a beast.
Yeah, he was.
So was the black dude who ended up getting killed, but he was fucking Luke Cage up.
Tomorrow, Swandy.
Yeah, oh, bro, he was fucking Luke Cage up, bro. Now at the restaurant fight.
Yeah.
Shit.
He got his head chopped off. Like there were moments in the shows like, oh man, it's kind of going lighthearted. Because at that moment, like you kind of felt some lighthearted moment. Then next one, you see a dude get his fucking head cut off and roll on the floor while blood's gushing everywhere. It's like, yeah. Like, yeah. It definitely had, I would say, more jokes than any of the other series. But, it came as expected because, Jessica Jones, she's kind of nonchalant. Everybody else a little bit more serious. She's nonchalant. She's going to talk shit. Like she told Daredevil he looks stupid, and she told him he looks better with her sweater over his head.
What did she call Iron Fist? She called him Ironclad. He said it's Iron Fist, and she said, "I know." She did it on purpose. If I had to give it a rating, I can't remember what I gave Jessica Jones.
Me neither.
Personally, I like I said, I'd probably put, I'd put this right under the 2 seasons of Daredevil, and I'm trying to remember. Did I give Jessica Jones or Luke Cage a higher rating?
I don't remember what ratings I honestly don't remember. I remember Daredevil. Like I've given pretty much both seasons about a 9. That's the only ones I remember.
I think I gave season 2 a 9.5.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
And then, I put it somewhere above Iron Fist and Jessica Jones, but under Luke Cage and Daredevil seasons.
Mine's is similar. So what would you give it?
On a scale, I'd probably go like 7.5, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe even an 8, because I really like the storytelling they did.
It set up more stuff. If you looked at that, pretty much that end, and then of course you got the Punisher trailer, which we're gonna talk about that. I would say for me, I have it because mine is slightly different. I would have it. To me, I like Daredevil season 2 more than 1. 1 was great, but it's so damn close. But I got Daredevil season 2, then 1.
Yeah.
Then I got Jessica Jones because I really like what they did with Purple Man and everything with that, and the fact that they're gonna be able to use him later. I would put it right under that. It would be like Daredevil season 2, season 1, Jessica Jones, then Defenders. Then Luke Cage and Iron Fist. That's how I got it. My problem with Luke Cage was the fact that they killed off Cottonmouth. That pissed me off. Still,
their villains went to shit after that.
Yeah, that's it. Really dropped off, but it's still a really good series. So I would give it about an 8. I
think that's fair.
Definitely. I don't know what people went into it. We're comic fans, and we're giving it a good score. Just saying, it had to be something we liked. It's not. Is it going to be exactly like the comics? Fuck no. We're going to expect it to be fucking to a T. Are any of these shows, movies to a T with the comics? No. So what? It's a different adaptation of the character. As long as it's close enough to what we remember, it's good enough for me.
Yeah, and I like the way this team came together better than the Avengers.
Yep.
Personally,
because there were shows, you kind of saw you really got to see a lot about Avengers. We didn't really get to see or even care about the characters really until later. You got the shows. You got the shows probably 12, 13 episodes, especially with Daredevil, where he had 2 seasons before this. You kind of saw the build up. You got to really learn about the characters. At least those portrayal of the characters. And you got to grew to like them and or hate them, whatever.
Yeah, and it was kind of like with the first Avengers, you had basically Nick Fury just putting everybody together, right? And then they didn't get along or whatever, and shit just eventually they got along. Whereas with the Defenders, before the first like 4 episodes are all focusing on basically why each person is invested. Like they gave you a backstory with Luke Cage coming home from prison and him trying to stop the string of young kids getting killed on the streets, right? And at first you're like, where's this going? Is this leading back to Black Mariah and Shays? And then it come to find out it was connected to the Hand. And then Jessica Jones, she was investigating this dude who was trying, who had plans on blowing up the building, and come to find out, it led back to the Hand. And then we already know Daredevil and Iron Fist's connections to the Hand. Especially with Daredevil when he seen Elektra, that's what really changed it for him. But they all had no intentions of teaming together. They had no intentions of. Jessica Jones didn't even want to be involved with the Hand at all. Like she didn't want to be involved at all until the family was in trouble or whatever. But they all came together for their separate reasons. And they were all fighting their own battles, basically for their own cities or whatever they were fighting for, and it kind of just coincided with each other. It wasn't, hey, let's all take down this one villain because that's the right thing to do.
Yep.
So I really like that storytelling.
Yeah, because they had to have some way for them to come together, and I think what they did worked. That's just how I feel about it. Yeah. All right. At the end of the series, they and of course, before I talk about that, there were things setting up. Misty losing the arm, as you well know, she lost the arm. They were talking about, from what you told me, they were talking about doing a series with her, Colleen, and Rosario Dawson's character. That could be something that would be in the works. Obviously, we don't know for sure, but that could possibly be something in the works. Of course, you're going to get another season of each of these character shows. Whatever villain they plan on using. Daredevil, the rumor is Bullseye, right?
Well, that's part of it. They're doing the Born Again storyline, so they've already done some things on the show that kind of take some of the Born Again things and kind of move them out of continuity, basically. But that's the angle they're going for. They're going for a version of Born Again. So, like his mom, possibly Bullseye, Kingpin. But Born Again is probably one of the 2 or 3 most popular stories, Daredevil stories out there. With like Born Sinner. So, I think it's going to get really interesting, especially depending on what characters we see. Hopefully we get Kingpin back, and hopefully we get Bullseye, because they're kind of intertwined in terms of some of the stuff that happens to Daredevil.
Yeah, that's gonna be really good. But they would get anywhere close to the storytelling that comic had.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then I will say this too, because I think it was a little Easter egg, but remember the first time Daredevil and Iron Fist met, right? And he had the scarf over his head as the mask, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you remember what happened at the end of the season where Daredevil told Iron Fist to take care of the city.
Mm-hmm.
I think that kind of that scarf thing that Matt had going on, I think that's probably what's eventually going to end up inspiring Iron Fist to do the yellow.
Oh.
Yeah, I think. Even if it's not at the beginning of the season, but I think it's going to inspire him to finally get a mask, though.
That would have been cool if at the end of the series they'd have had like some kind of version of his comic, because his costume, like right when they showed when they showed his fist light up, that'd have been cool if he was wearing like his costume. And this obviously.
Well, he did have a green jumpsuit on though. He had a green and yellow jumpsuit.
Yeah, I did see that. So maybe they're gonna just doing some changes to his costume, because I'm not necessarily sure. Is it going to be kind of like Avengers 1 Captain America costume, where it works in the comics, but you see that same costume on live action? Nah, that's why they had to change it later on to more of his World War II style costume. So maybe they go with something like that. Like you say, he had the jumpsuit on, so maybe they do something with his costume coming into next season. This kind of set that up.
Mm-hmm. I'm hoping that's what that is.
Yeah. So okay, at the end of the series, very tail end, obviously I saw it before I even finished it, was the Punisher trailer. Now that comes out sometime in November, and all the goody good shit that you saw in this series, throw it right out. Because the Punisher is a monster killing monsters. That's what he does. So anybody coming in expecting some kind of moral compass or any of that crap, you're not gonna find it. I hope you don't. I hope they've already said. Didn't you say Bernthal said something about they're not gonna make this character an endearing character? Exactly.
Yeah, they're gonna keep it true to who Punisher is, to Frank Castle, the Killing Machine. They're not gonna do anything to make people like him. Like, if you're gonna like him, you're gonna like him because of who he is as a killer. But you're not gonna see him in there hugging and kissing babies and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? That's not what you're gonna get.
Yeah, and I believe this is gonna be the first series that's not gonna be in New York.
Well, yeah, if you don't count Iron Fist with the shit that happened in China and all that.
Around. Yeah, but I think I don't remember where they said this was gonna be at, but most is not gonna take place in New York or any parts of it. Probably there's gonna be some parts where it does, come back just to kind of tie it together at some point.
Some flashback to his days in the military. That was part of one of the trailers.
Yeah, I did see that. I'm looking forward to this series. Like, Bernthal was great. Like, if you want to, like, you don't even have to see a fight scene. Just go to watch the scene where he's in the courtroom and of course he was at the stand. He was told to speak and everything. And just listen to what he says. Like, that's the Punisher. He said I'm not sorry for what I did. I killed those guys. Those guys were scumbags. If I had a chance, I'll do it again. Right in front of the courtroom, in front of everybody. That's what I'm talking about.
That season I just watched that season 2 again a couple weeks ago. Man, that shit is so good.
So yeah, like, there's not much else to cover. Obviously we could talk about what series they should do.
Oh, he was missing from the Defenders though.
Think he should have been in there?
Yes, for the simple fact of you had these people with kind of these conflicting ways of doing things, where you had you had a Luke Cage and an Iron Fist who were kind of on one side in terms of the way they approach handling villains, and then you got Daredevil, obviously, who will beat the crap out of somebody without killing them, and then Jessica Jones, who really she's almost the same way to a lesser degree as Daredevil. It would have been nice to have somebody with stick who kind of had that same mentality of kill or be killed.
Yeah, and the Punisher will be there, and it will be a nice clash, because that's why I liked Daredevil season 2, because you saw that clashes in morality. One guy was like, when I knock them down, they stay down.
Yep.
Punisher, when you knock them down, they get back up and still do the same shit they was doing before. So it would have been nice in the characters. Yeah, that would have been a nice edge, because none of those four they weren't killers.
Yeah, even if he wasn't there for the entire series, and he ended up, you get some type of story where he was off on his own doing his own thing or whatever, and he came, whatever he was taking care of kind of intersected with it, and he's good at tracking people. He tracked his way down where they were hiding my man from the Hand and whatever, and He brought that levity to the entire situation of, look, these people are going to kill you and every person in the city if we don't kill them. Even if he wasn't there for the entire series, where, okay, you guys ain't doing this shit my way, I'm going to go off and start killing some motherfuckers from the Hand, and then y'all do what y'all got to do on y'all own or whatever,
Yeah, he definitely should have had some kind of appearance, I feel as though, at some point during the series. How it should have been was, he has an appearance, he has them out for a little while, then he has to handle his own shit, which leads into his show, because his show's coming up next. So, it would be something that leads directly into his show. I really thought they could have kind of mixed that in there. Characters okay, characters we think they should do, that we've heard rumors about. I want to see something with Blade. I know we talked about this yesterday. I want to see something with Blade. Don't know what they want to do. Clearly, movie-wise, Disney, Disney bought they got the rights back from Sony. So you won't see another rated R Blade movie. Only way you're going to get it more mature, that's how it has to be, because it's a bloody, it's a bloody vampire character. He's essentially the Punisher, but a vampire and black. He goes around,
which actually wouldn't be a bad place to introduce him.
Ooh, what if they did do that?
Because even though, I mean, they could start off obviously as enemies, but them kind of reluctantly working together at some point would be nice.
Yeah, that does sound pretty good. But Blade's definitely one. Ghost Rider, that's not gonna happen because he was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because they got those rights back too. Moon Knight is one that I think could work just because of the psychological aspect of the character, because he suffers from schizophrenia. And they're big. You saw Jessica Jones. That was a psychological show. It went over well. It could work with Moon Knight, where he's a schizophrenic crime fighter, pretty much.
I would be cool with him on Jessica Jones, too, if that was his first appearance.
Yeah.
Because how Jessica Jones, what's with this mystical moon shit you talking about? I don't give a fuck.
Oh, yeah. You know she's going to make fun of it. You know she's going to make fun of it.
Yeah.
Why chugging a whole bottle of whiskey?
Yep.
So, to me, those are two characters that at least come to mind. At least one was rumored, and the other I want to happen just because Blade is a good character. They showed they can come out with good, you look at the first Blade movies, which one of my favorite comic movies. They could do something with Blade. Whoever they get to play him, I've been hearing Wesley Snipes still wants to play him. I don't know, he's been too old. That was when did Blade Trinity come out? 2005.
Yeah,
something like that. So he's a bit older, but maybe he could pull it off. I don't know. Maybe he could pull it off, but I think they should do something with Blade, especially as they went into the whole mysticism thing. You got Iron Fist in there. How far fetched will vampires be resurrecting people? Like I said, people got eternal life, teleporting to different pretty much different lands with bones of dragons. Come on, you could put a damn vampire in there.
I would love to see the look on Matt Murdock's face when he found out vampires existed.
That would be great.
Because he still ain't believe to bringing people back to life, even when he seen Elektra.
He didn't.
He was still skeptical.
He didn't even believe the shit that fucking Iron Fist could do. Like, he was skeptical about that shit. But any other characters you think should have a show that is in MCU in any way? Well, the other parts of the MCU, PG.
Well, if we can get rid of the Inhumans, that'd be cool.
Yeah, because that show coming up looks like shit.
I'm trying to think, for a live action purpose, is there any other characters? I think I wouldn't mind a Nova show if they're not going to use him in the movies as a solo character.
I think they're gonna. I think he's showing up so late, but I think he's gonna be there in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I don't think he's gonna be in Infinity War. He could be in Part 2, because is there a Guardians movie before? Well, not called Part 2, but is there a Guardians movie before the next Infinity War movie?
I don't know. I know they've already started writing it for Guardians 3, but I know they just start filming the second part to Infinity War. So they did back-to-back filming for both movies. So they just started filming the second part for Infinity War for the second movie.
Okay.
So it'll probably be before the next Avengers, but after both Infinity Wars.
I'm trying to think of it. I can't think of another character, honestly. Like Namor, I don't think that could work. Not on the Netflix budget.
No, definitely not on Netflix.
That has to be. He has to be. Could they do a solo movie with him? Probably not. But
yeah, he's not street level enough either in terms of the villains he fights.
Yeah, he's too powerful. He's like you team up. He's like, he shouldn't be here. He's way too powerful.
Yeah, they need more street level people.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking like Moon Knight and Blade. Yeah, those
Moon Knight, Blade. Spidey could have been good.
Yeah.
That could have really been good. Trying to think who else is there left really. That's on a street level.
I ain't really big time. Well, I ain't one that I can really think of that would turn out to be a good show.
Let me Google this. Let's see.
Maybe they could. Maybe they could do one about a villain. Have to dig in the bag for the lower tier villains that they're not gonna use in the movies.
Now, a show for a villain alone would be pretty good.
Yeah,
if they could pull it off.
Because it'll definitely be something different. Because you don't really see many things, dealing with the bad guy. Movies surrounding the bad guy. Yeah, Punisher is probably your closest thing. And yeah, he borderlines on being a bad guy. That's probably close.
Yeah. See. Hawkeye would have been good.
Yeah, but unfortunately,
that's the movie. I definitely wouldn't want to see that. But as a TV series, yeah.
Yeah. Is it because Arrow's a thing?
Yeah, I just can't imagine watching a movie with him. It just doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
Let's see. I know it was going to be in the movies. All these other characters, they've pretty much used in the movies to some degree, or they don't have the rights to.
Yeah, because I could possibly think, they don't have X-Men rights. They could do a lot with that. Because, fuck, that Fox is coming out with a show right now, Gifted, using X-Men characters. Maybe they could have done something, think about it. If they was, okay, say they use that budget that they're using on the Humans, throw that on Netflix, and, have a more mature rating. We don't like the Humans like that, but that's another thing that could definitely work, especially seeing as it's gonna get a higher budget by being on public TV. So that's one that I guess we possibly look at. Like I said, Ghost Rider.
Sentry would have been interesting, but he's too powerful.
Yep. Most of the characters I'm even thinking of are just way too powerful. But you need street level characters to kind of connect with, I guess, a little bit. Like Sentry, you can't fucking connect with some guy doing the shit he can do.
Mm-hmm.
You just want to see him fuck up shit.
Yeah, I think everybody else that's left is just not street level enough, or doesn't have enough street level. So yeah, I think it is just Blade and Moon Knight for the most part.
But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get up out of here, man. Go ahead and plug all your stuff, man.
Twitter is just Virtuoso Sports. Outside of that, the rest of the week I'm on BlissSportsNetwork.com.
And you guys know, hit that sub button, like this video, and you can follow me on Twitter at CalvinFieldPod. But you know all this. We're gonna probably do some more stuff. I don't know if we're gonna do anything for the Gifted show. We got to see how that turns out. But we're probably gonna do some more content. Definitely gonna do something for Justice League and Thor Ragnarok, which we think is gonna be the good Thor movie. So we're definitely going to do videos about that. Of course, talking about anything coming in the future. If you like this video, of course, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Thanks for watching.